Alright, so I'm going to start streaming it.
So I feel like this is a very boring topic, so I hope I'm not boring you guys on this, but trying to make it as exciting as I can. So until this year, this was sort of the description of how we sold ourselves. And that, we're a permanent solution, managing and supporting housing, the website and the internet account management means we get to know your business. So we've switched over to where we're managing your website for you. And we work hand in hand with your team as your webmaster. We also, you will see there is a lot of references now to managed Joomla WordPress hosting. So obviously, I don't even know if we mentioned that in the 2011 thing, although, we did sort of, I guess at points we thought we could sell Joomla. I technically don't think you can sell Joomla, to be honest. I think you sell your company's expertise to use a tool, whether it's Joomla or WordPress or whatever, but just saying, hey, we're on a Joomla website, I don't think.
Carpenters don't sell the fact that they use Milwaukee or whatever tool. They sell the fact that they're a good carpenter that can measure and can cut a straight line.
Yeah.
And the tool is a good material.
I find a lot of people are coming to me asking for a WordPress site.
Well, and that's actually why we have about 100 Joomla sites, and 2 years ago, I kept seeing WordPress popping up, and I tried to convince people Joomla was better. We even had a presentation here one time about Joomla being better than WordPress. Yeah, I met you at that time, and in reality, at some point, I just stopped trying to do that and realized. And then you look at the numbers, and 25% of the web supposedly is WordPress sites, and so we're sitting at 100 Joomla sites and 25 WordPress sites. I have 10 new WordPress sites coming in rather through development, or simply saying, you guys really manage sites well, we're going to give you, like I picked up an account giving us 4 WordPress sites. For me to sit down and say to him, hey, let's convert these to Joomla, when he's probably spent $2 or $3 grand or up to $5 grand per site, it just doesn't make sense. And from a marketing point of view, if it's a marketing website.
I still won't do a new WordPress, but take over existing WordPress.
Yeah, well, but in this model for our support and hosting, and there's tools where you can just migrate the WordPress site from where it's sitting, just export it straight out and put it into your hosting. You do nothing and the site's up and running. So it's actually very easy to take over a WordPress site, but we're developing them as well. So, and we have a Joomla developer who is just a Joomla expert, and then we have a WordPress person who's not as strong, about 2 years of development, but they're good. But as I said too about the content, in particular, I saw it with WordPress, every page is page built. And so that's the problem with teaching classes now. It's like, so I'm going to teach you how to use a page builder. Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I struggle to remember the parameters to wander around and change this. And that's where when you look at Joomla's articles and WordPress's pages, with Joomla we're doing a lot more modular stuff, and we're using widget kit for just about any kind of slideshows, and so a lot of that, again, it's very hard to teach. So
I did training for a client that used theme page builder recently.
What's that?
I did training for a client using UTheme page builder.
For WordPress?
No.
For Joomla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the site was built with UTheme Pro theme. It was actually fine.
Yeah.
They sort of picked it up pretty quickly.
It does depend on the client, and one-on-one training too, but it's still that, I guess what I'm really clarifying is I think there's a load of opportunity for anyone who wants to get into managing Joomla websites, the Joomla and WordPress websites, and from an income point of view, it becomes your bread and butter. It keeps you alive, and it can help you make a full-time living out of this, and it also, I think, makes you a better developer when you really fundamentally look at how a website changes over several years with the client using it. They go from this looks beautiful in the first year to the third year, it's like, I'm not getting enough response from this site. They see it in a totally different way. And as a developer, I have developers that sort of don't want to go near that scenario. Because I have to go near that scenario because that takes. So. Alright, so anyway, that's basically what we looked like in 2008. So, 2018. So the question really came, and I do have to wait one. No, we did introduce Secure Server in 2017. this is sort of, I guess, the explanation as to why we're doing these things. Is when I say a secure site, it's not secure. I just am stunned. I just don't understand for the cost to put in a secure server why you would not do that. So if I'm selling, you can bet you on a dollar. If I'm selling and I know that someone's got a non-secure site, it's an area I'm going to home into and just say, the group you're working with for $100 could have a secure site that doesn't pop up as not secure in Chrome. So we introduced this and we made it a standard saying if we're going to host a site, we're going to do it. So in 2017, we initially realized we wanted to do this. So, and this is our methodology of doing this. We did a blog to basically sell people. Oops.
It's a lot of copy back into that one.
Sorry. We use EasyBlog, by the way. I don't know if anyone's used that, but it's I find it the best blog to comparative to the people who come from WordPress, and you can put blogs to and from WordPress very easily.
That's what we call the business that people expect from WordPress.
From a blog, right? That's exactly it. So they don't say, what's this article about? Somewhere down here.
So all that stuff you can do in template overrides.
Of course it is.
Well, that's
what
what
cost me. So 200 hours.
Yeah.
And I've done that. I saw you sort of template overrides an easy blog, and I have done.
All right, here we go. This was the blog that we did. And we do a blog and then we do an e-news. And our e-news goes to 100, like 200 or 300 people, but it goes to every decision maker. And so basically the premise was Google will drive traffic to secure websites with new security standards. So we decided we're going to raise prices. We're going to make a client, and at that stage, the cost of our certificate was $30. So we were going to make every client pay $100. So basically, at the end of the year, when you get your invoice for next year, next quarter, or next month, whichever you're on, you're paying an extra $100. So the question was how, and that's really part of what this session's about, is getting the client to agree to this. And so in October, we sold the premise that it's got to be secure. And we put that blog out. And the next thing we looked at doing...
Did you get any kickback from clients?
None. You will see I've got one email feedback on the secure server over the last 2 years. And I've got one on the price increase, which, basically when you raise your prices, you share it ethically with your client, and I don't think they blink. But when you look at our numbers, and something like this is an extra $12,000 income a year for us by just rate. So and that's not counting changing your service fees. So you can sort of see that's really valuable to be able to increase your bottom line by that, without absolutely nailing your client at the same time. So once we did that, we sent out an e-news. And that's actually, so we do a blog that just says about this. And of course, when we blog, we did share it with social media. So some clients are some clients are reading this, some aren't, but, and then we actually do the official e-news. And the e-news basically says, and this went out to every person that pays our bills. And, hope everyone's having a great fall, blah, blah, blah. Google's launching a security initiative. And basically, so we are planning to upgrade all their Web Design Cloud hosting accounts to secure server certificate over the Christmas holidays. You should budget $100 for this upgrade. So basically, I did sort of imply it was an upgrade. If you have taken, like I've done this with WordPress in particular, not every site you just turn the certificate on and it runs.
No.
There's a lot of back work that you might have to do pending how it was set up and whether you got hard calls and stuff like that. So
Your
I
errors
did-
in the database will kill you every time.
yeah, and so we did a WordPress site last week, and it had, you know, we spent hours on it getting all of the non-secure calls out, and of course that's my selling point to the customer, so it's like, we have to do this. And so anyway, there was the e-news, and there'd me smiling at them because hopefully they weren't going to say anything else. So that was in 2017, but it did set a standard. So what initiated us in 2018 to consider price raises again was Google My Business. And if you're, I'm not sure your levels of Google My Business, but it has become a premier part of us marketing ourselves.
It's almost invisible in Australia.
Yeah, it's stunning. It is. It's literally. I literally read an article yesterday. It said, and I've heard this from Facebook maybe 5 years ago, that people now believe in Google My Business can just be its own website. Like, you can have that and you won't need a website, which of course is not true because you have no control over it.
People in Australia think more on Facebook pages than
Yes, absolutely.
You know, Facebook business page. I'll use that as their website rather.
Yeah.
We do Google My Business for customers, but very few ask for it.
Well, this is the interesting part. So I figured I might go visit Google My Business, which I may not be able to do here. But, well, I guess, yeah, I'm not signed into this account. Google My Business has generally 3 to 5 to 10 times more traffic than a client's website. So when I tell the client, okay, I'm going to help you claim this page, and we claim it, and the first thing I do is a report off Google My Business, and they see that they get 5,000 views on their Google My Business page, and they're getting about maybe 1,000 visiting their website. They are completely and utterly sold on Google My Business. And I, you know, I don't know how well, I'm part salesman and part technical, but I basically tell them that, you know, Google My Business is sitting above their website, and that traffic is sitting here, and a percentage of it gets to their Google My Business page, and depending what you have there, it takes you to your website, or makes a phone call, or sends you an email. And the good thing about Google My Business, it tells you, you had 85 calls last month, you had 25 people that asked for directions, and you had 67 links to your website.
1,200 people looked at photos.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, and so we manage about 110 of those pages, and the ones we don't manage, so I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, basically over the last 2 years, we kept watching this, and we kept adding Google My Business pages, we'd claim it. The customers, even to this day, still don't totally get it. But what I share with them the most is just traffic. Look, you know, we have a hotel that probably gets 3 to 5,000 visitors on their website, gets 20 to 30,000 at the Google My Business level. And so, and we have a large attorney firm. We bill them per hour actually managing their content there. And so we do Google Posts, which you post an article in Google, it lasts 7 days. If you do an event, it lasts 12 months. So you can literally have, if you're a travel agency or something like that, post a tour they're going on, and it can sit there for 12 months. So, but ultimately, we hadn't really clarified how to do that. And so that was basically where we decided, again, in my opinion, like Secure Server, I can't tell a client not to have control of this page. And if the client gets control of it, or it sits there, a third party is going to come in. Now, this is what's happening in the United States, and they're going to sell them a contract for a year to manage their Google My Business and charge them $150 a month, maybe more. And basically they'll do sort of things that we're doing, but they don't know them like we do. We manage their website, we manage their domains, we manage all parts of them. So basically, you know, at this stage, we decided we're going to manage every Google My Business page. And we're, as I said, we've got about 110, and the ones that we don't have, I now will go seek and say, will you make us a manager, and try to find out who's got it and get control there. So here is basically a large attorney firm's Google My Business page just at the front end. They have 42 attorneys. And I don't know Tony McAllister. And basically this is, Google My Business is all this stuff over here on the right. We post for them, we actually manage their blogs for them, we tag their blogs, they provide images, and then we post. That post will sit there for 7 days, it'll have a certain amount of views. If you have a look here, it shows you all the posts, so you can see here we're posting all the time. And these are guys are getting about 5,000 views a month. on their Google My Business page.
Is that optimised for their company name, or are you optimising each post for a legal term?
Well, in this particular case,
criminal negligence, or whatever it is.
In this particular case, an attorney technically is their own Google My Business entity. So any service, say if you get an accounting firm, you could technically do every accountant as a separate page as well. So we actually have some of these attorneys set up as separate. But this is branding the attorney. But our primary tag is Bone Law, which is the attorney firm. So it is sort of doing both. And it's basically, sharing out news.
So you're not necessarily trying to rank them for a particular style of litigation. You're just wanting to rank them for their name or their location.
In Google My Business, you list their services.
Right.
So if I went to these guys' website, and go to practice areas. These are all the practice areas. Every one of these is listed in Google My Business, and it will probably say, there's an area in Google My Business that says service description.
Yes.
So I list that, and then I actually would, if the this client's paying us to manage, so we will probably put potentially all that info in there as well.
You've got insecure warning. What's going on?
Oh, quick, let's get out.
Mixed content.
Yeah, it's going to kill sales right there.
What
brands am I in?
Oh, you
That's
say
right.
customer service?
I just can't believe it. Yeah, you're right. I'm eating my words right now.
It might be, it's mixed, is it mixed content?
Yeah, because you still got a padlock,
You've probably got a PDF that's not a HTTPS.
or a Google link that's going to do something else.
Can't stand it. Help with that. So anyway, so I put that in each one. So you've got that, and then the second thing we do on Google My Business is I have a photograph that is also described as the service, and the photograph would be called something like this guy, which is their alcohol beverage. Doesn't tell me what the name of that image was, but the image is probably something like alcohol beverage, legal services, bone law. So we basically try to name every image that's sitting here clearly. Google used to tell me a lot, we need more photos. I used to get that quite a bit. We need to add more photos to this account. I'm not getting that as much now. So you can see the amount of work you could actually do on Google My Business. We have then a smaller account. That's someone that's paying us hourly. But this is all part of where we decided we need to raise our prices, because we really do feel the responsibility to manage this page for the client. If we don't, another company is going to grab it, which is bad sales business. And we're letting our client down, in my opinion. But this is a smaller, just a template, customized theme client that we developed for. And of course, we still set up their Google My Business page. We don't do any posting for them, but you do get to add all your description of the company, and we then added the photos. And if we change the website and we add a service, we'll add it to Google My Business. We're totally simple. Now, our price increase was the client paying us an extra $10 a month for that service. We won't update their standard page for a small client a lot, but it will be, all the information will be accurate. And if we do update their website, we'll go update that as well. And we're in control of that. And that's actually what they're going. Well, it's $120, $10 a month, so it's $120. So that's actually. So ultimately, that is what we agreed upon to sell as part of raising the prices. And as I pointed out, bottom line for us, it's $12,000 extra dollars. $1,000 a month to do that, $12,000 a year. So here is, so ultimately our pricing went from 100 to 120, 60, it went up by 20%. And the way we did it, just like we did the other time, was we just put out an a blog first that sold the clients, and this is a pretty specific. I really thought about this, and this is what I sit in front of all these guys when I'm selling and when I'm having to review their site, and I thought the best way to make them logically understand this, because they understand so little about what we actually do, is you've got two primary assets you really need to care about now. You've got your website, now you've got Google My Business. You have to care about both of them now. I could go into domains, but domains obviously is a digital asset, but it sits in a different scenario than this. So that was the premise behind that, and I did think of a while to try to get the right tone on that, on clarifying that. And this blog just simply says, depending how long you've been in business, well, it basically just talks about the fact that they've got the Google My Business is now being introduced, and it really has loads of traffic coming down the pipe. So then we actually confirmed our price increase. And basically it says, as a result of Google My Business traffic, blah, 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 we're increasing our fees by 20% per month. And we sent that out to every decision maker. And we increased our price. As I said, we had just one customer email feedback from doing that, and it was a large real estate company that sets their budgets well before the end of the year and said, we've already set our budget. So you can tell we have relatively small clients, but she said we'll get it adjusted. So that was it. So any questions or comments, I guess, on where I'm at? The one asset that I can't show you that either. I was going to say, our help desk with Zendesk is really a big part of how we manage this. So I was planning to show you that, but I'm not in my account. And currently we have maybe 10 support issues. We have about 20 open customer projects, and we have I think 7 or 8 new web design developments going on. We manage all our clients in that area. And realistically, for them paying for us for hosting and support, those accounts also hold their domain registration information, any third-party product they use, so we can just go to pull up their account in Zendesk. We have absolutely every piece of that puzzle that is tied to them. And the premise is that if we don't manage it, someone else will, or we know that's what happens from a domain point of view. So our bottom line, but we're managing this, and you can sort of see the way I'm describing this. This is expert management. We need to be paid well for doing this service, which is why I think there's a lot of opportunity now for Joomla folks and WordPress folks to focus on managing these versus designing and saying, you put them anywhere you like, which is what I used to hear all the time. And my premise there is just total garbage. You cannot put them anywhere you like anymore. Those days are done. So on hourly service fees, and I'm just sharing this with you, we actually, when we do custom design, our designers render the design in mock-ups. I don't know if anyone's using mock-ups, but we will take it, render it. So it means they have to draw the design, understand the tool set they're using, and then share it with the client. And we may share, not 15, but 3 or 4 mock-ups. So which one do you like, what don't you like? We don't do any template touching at all until they sign off on the design in the mock-ups. Then we go and develop it. And the premise behind doing that is, one, we have a very talented designer that is a great graphic designer, but also a developer, so she can do this very quickly. And secondly, I feel like it's much easier to change drawings than to change websites. So if we build a site and you start to tell us to redesign it, that's a tough gig.
That's US dollars, isn't it?
Yes, and we used to charge $85 for the design phase and $100 for the development. I actually think the design phase is now more specialized. Anyone that can design understanding the tool set versus someone that hands you a PSD and says, hey, make this website for me. They've got no idea as to how anything behaves or anything interacts. So we increased that to $100 per hour. There is no need to really clarify that. Clients, we offer that if we are doing redesigns to clients, but it's always in a quote. So I'm just changing that. So the only other thing we actually had to change from a services point of view was web content management was $50 an hour, and social media and Google My Business Management was $60 an hour. Last year we billed 600 hours of that. And this is another part of the advent of the way this changed. In 2011, you know how much web content we built? 0. And this is what I learned from preparing this presentation, and it's just like, wow, look at what has changed over the last 8 years for us. Is the amount of time we spend managing a client's website. We don't do a lot of social media, we're doing a lot of Google My Business, 600 hours. So, doing the math again on that, we are now increasing our price from $50 to $60, which will bring us in another $6,000 if we just have the same amount of work, basically. So, and that's the only adjustment. I have not actually sent any news out. I was a little nervous telling clients about 2 price raises at the same time, so I got this other one through, and all billed. I'm going to have to go back to the client very shortly and say, hey, these are only, we only have so many clients to manage sites for, so. So any questions or?
So you don't do, so there's no, you've got no clients that are on a web content
Plan. No, and I mean, that's where we were into it. We were trying to, again, work out how we could do that. It's just very difficult to judge content requests.
No, I've had a couple of experiments last year that was more a case of working out how much to deliver, and then work back on it. You know. So unfortunately, there are family clients which made it easier to burn the cost. But it wasn't.
It's a hard one, but
I need some that are on a plan, but I need some that are paying by the hour because they don't necessarily have the appreciation for some of the stuff that
You track time building against those monthly charges?
we do, absolutely. So that's why if I showed you Zendesk, we use a product called Harvest. So we've got Zendesk, and then we integrate to Harvest, and we take Harvest and it pushes out to QuickBooks. And Dana hits the record button now, one of the developers, and literally records her time while she works, which I don't do that. I will, work. We have a minimum of 15 minutes, but I'll work and say, okay.
But she can fast forward through that, work out which job she was working on.
She obviously, she literally, she's so efficient.
Yeah, I start to start.
You do? Yeah, you're more like Dana, because I will, but I bounce between a lot of stuff, whereas she's just focused on a few development
That's
projects.
your problem, not that.
Yeah. So I will just guess, and then we round to 15 minutes. But we use Harvest to do that, and I've never had to share that back with the client, but I could go back and show a client everything we have done. And actually, the 42 attorney firm is the best one I've dealt with on that, because I know that we're more specific in our billing than they are.
I was more talking about your own analysis of what you're billing monthly and how much work you're actually doing against that.
I use Harvest.
So you go back and say, okay, well, I've been charging $50 a month, but I've actually done $70 a month for the work for you.
Well, that's all. We've got no one on any kind of. Well, we do have one product called Web Content Assist, where we do use that as an analysis tool. It's to prove to the client that we are actually doing web content for you. And so that's actually a non-charge thing that I can show a client. We've done 50 hours or 30 hours or 20 hours of web content for you this year. We're going to have to start charging you for that. But we generally charge every client hourly on content management. We have very few that we've tried to do with an actual monthly thing because it's just such a hard thing.
I would like to Google my business page, so I'm charging $10 a month for that.
Right.
Have you analysed whether you're spending $10 worth of time a month?
Well,
or more? Because I was looking at that going, okay, even if you just see on the basic page, that's what more than $10. So it's a couple of months worth of leaks or a couple of months charges.
Right. So I would equate say, well, right now our price is $60 an hour. So with Google My Business, basically they get 2 hours a year on that thing.
Right, okay.
So we've claimed it. We've made the phone number. We've got the email correct. We've got all the links. We've got all the descriptions set up, and we're probably monitoring it. So we're not really looking at reviews. I see that coming. I see that like our hotels. We've got loads of stuff going there. And so technically speaking, most likely over the year, let's say our lifespan is probably 3 to 5 years with this client, we won't do, and this is one that we're not charging hourly. If we do any significant work in Google My Business, we're going to charge you hourly.
So you charge to write the article, but the Do My Business fee covers putting that article onto.
We don't write content.
Right.
We,
Well, that's how it works.
well, we know because we can't write. We just aren't experts. Yeah. So and this is a big sell of the client. We can't write the content, but if you hand it to us, we will publish it. We will go find a royalty-free picture to match it. We will tag it. We will categorize it. We will share it with social media. We'll add it to My Business. That's actually a 15-minute task, and we build them accordingly. But that's still, from their point of view, that's a lot of marketing for 15 minutes.
Well, they can't say that you could write content for, like, for example, the wildlife pest removal thingy. I mean, that's that's not kind of what's the word that I can use?
Complex.
Yeah, that'll be the word. Yeah. It's not hugely complex. You know, you can look up their competitors and see what are they talking about, and then crafting out.
So yeah.
Oh, I agree. Sure.
I tend to say to people that you know your business better than me. So even if you just put the words on the page, and then I will make it web friendly for you.
But I've got clients that can't put the word on.
Right.
And they talk into a dictaphone
They would struggle with that. Well, I'm just a builder.
So I started.
I stop there. I'm a builder. End of story. Yes. So what do you build? I can tell you I build decks, not houses, and that's the end of the conversation. They can't extrapolate out that their quality, quality, and all that. Well, yeah, that's right.
So our business model is a differential there, and we have like these cheaper hosting lanes, which we call bare templates.
Yes.
That is for what we classify as a client, but we actually don't care about the business model, which is not being mean or rude.
Yeah.
It's saying, I don't want to, you're not paying us enough for us to try to find the business model here. Which is, so in that case, I will go find comparative content, I will put it into the site and say, could you please review that?
Yeah, okay.
It will be a big cut and paste job because I will not launch a site that doesn't have content, but I can't write this stuff specifically because it will actually kill our budgets,
Yes.
time-wise, to write it properly.
Yeah.
So I will, and I tend to find that if you put something in front of a client, content-wise, even maybe a small paragraph in a picture, they tend to tell you what's wrong with it.
They
So,
change it straight away.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted you to do in the first
I
place.
can't do it from the start.
Right.
You can't give them a blank sheet and they'll fill it out.
No.
They will critique something and come back to you and say, oh no, we don't do that. Why couldn't you have told me that in the beginning? Okay, well we don't do that. Oh, we do that. Okay, great.
So
We
where's
just put a blurb in there.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, for sure. Here's a blurb.
But most
and they go, oh,
people-
can you change that? It's not.
Most people can correct what
Yes.
they can see, but they're not necessarily. It's a different part of the brain.
Yeah.
So if you can do what Peter's saying, if you just copy and paste something, give them something to look at,
That's true.
then they've got a base to work from.
But you can charge your clients more if you can craft a reasonable.
Are you charging clients for content?
Yeah,
For
to me,
content?
to me that's
Yes.
a different profession.
That's
Oh,
a
it
different-
is,
it's a whole
absolutely
different
it is,
thing,
but-
yeah.
So you are, Martin?
Yeah, I
And how much do you
absolutely-
charge a client for writing content?
95 an hour for everything, no matter what it is I do.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's actually
it's
something.
standard charge.
Right. For everything,
So,
yeah.
For everything, and it's
Not the
per
same.
minute billing. So if I spend 6 minutes or 66 minutes, it's proportional.
And the reason we charge time-wise is because I actually pay. We pay, basically we split 50% with the consultant that's working for us. So if someone's developing for $100, they get 50, we
Yes.
get 50, and so these are all based on if I'm paying someone to copy and paste a blog, I'm not paying them $100 an hour. I'm not. But at the same time, so that explains why our charges are because we've got multiple people.
Yes.
And now what I've learned is from our web content is we need to be looking for a web content type person now that we're getting into the 600 hours range and getting me out of that business.
But how much would a content writer or a wordsmith cost?
I mean, a good one, in my opinion, could range from $75 to $100 because it's a real skill to write something. But they would research the subject, and so you're talking about it's a lot of work.
Well, isn't it an add-on you could add to the?
I don't have that person in our and National's got a lot of great songwriters, but so go ahead.
Another reason probably not to write content for people. I did an early one for security doors and blinds and sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
And so I just researched it. Don't put the word crim safe in anything that isn't crimson.
Right.
The owner of the business, within about 2 weeks of me putting the website up, the owner had a legal letter from
To using the word crimsafe, yeah.
It's a brand.
And I was just sort of saying that the quality of the product isn't as good as crimsafe, so it was actually trying to help with crimsafe, but they just have something that stands for their words and puts out a letter. So.
We recently put on a guy just as a journalist, just to write stuff, and we sort of thought it was a bit of overkill. But the impact that's had, just even on Facebook posts, and someone will write you a paragraph and say, put this on the website, and it's like, no one's going to read that, it's just too long.
Right,
And
yeah.
it's rubbish.
Yeah.
This guy cut it down into a sentence, and it's like, you go back and they say that's
See, to
true.
me, if you can get him enough volume, then you've got
Yes.
someone. But the key is how much work can he
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
The other issue we have with the content is we have deadlines on development, and I don't get paid if we don't get this site launched.
Yes.
And so I'm paying these consultants, and we pay every, bi-monthly. So I have this deadline that I carry with me all the time, and that is we've got to get this site launched.
Yes.
And content's always the reason we're not getting it launched. So and our developers don't like content. So but I really do use more of that copy and paste method, and actually just clarify to the client, hey, listen, you've got to get your site launched as well. But I do sort of interact with the client on that. I know it's a big issue, but when the site launches, if it does have no content and that Latin crap, that's just horrible. It's not serving the client at all. So it is definitely one of the tough areas. If you could get someone that's a great writer, journalist, so definitely content is king. That's why these are content management systems. I mean, content is definitely the king of this. So,
Yes, exactly.
but a client's knowledge of their business is so generally really strong. So if you can just figure out how to write something about the knowledge you have in your head. Just to finish off too, so Google has really dictated to us these things that we've been changing in terms of our hosting and that. The thing I've run into in the last few weeks was Google page speed insights, and we had a client contact us and say they had a company walk in and show them our site, and our site sucked on page speed insights, and that was their key element to try to sell this team. It was a law firm away from us. And they didn't leave us, but we happened to be at the site. But I can see now that from a hosting and management point of view, that the speed of the website, probably with Google Page Insights, is critical. And if you test that stuff out, it runs slower on Google Page Insights than any other metric testing I don't know if you've seen that.
GT metrics is the one.
Yeah, and then GT metrics will have 90%. Google will be like 40 or 50, and it's like.
I thought their criteria are very similar.
Very similar, but it depends on the local server as well. So Google might be just doing it randomly.
So I'm wondering whether
But
I've
if
talked to
you
Roche.
sign up to GT metrics, you can set your test location.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Server,
a
so-
Sydney-based one for us.
Because from a sales point of view, if I can sit in front of someone and say, "Oh my gosh, this site's slow," like it's not secure. Now the next one, man, this site is so slow. That's an easy sell because they understand what slow is.
But when you look at just the general page speed site, it doesn't give you as much detail as the GT metrics one does.
It just gives you lower. Like
Yeah.
we really suck. So I've
There's a
worked
whole
with
lot of
someone
stuff in the
to fix
GT
it.
metrics one that is on my list of things to blog about.
Okay, yeah.
Which then goes into.
That's a long list, Patrick.
It is very long list.
Can I ask a question? Because Martin mentioned he charges a flat rate. Is it basically the consultants you have to employ that determines your different hourly rates? Is there a reason you haven't just charged $100 an hour for everything?
I don't think web content management is worth $100 an hour.
Okay.
So it's an ethical.
200.
It is a premise of charging my time.
Yes.
I think if I was just an individual, I'd probably have a different thing. But I do quite a bit of content management, but I don't do any development work at all.
I'd agree if I was in a position to put someone on who was just doing content management, then I'd bill it out lower than my own hourly rate.
Right.
If someone asked me to do content publishing, that's right. No, sorry, I'd like to be doing dev work at 110.
Yeah, and see that's the difference with me. I am not losing development work, but I still need to get a content management person in there.
I have a finite number of hours in my day.
So you're getting burnt if you're doing that.
So that's right. If I'm going to
Yeah.
hire myself out at 95 for one and 30 for the other, why would I? It's my time.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
There's only
And
24 hours. a
so
day.
you guys are all probably the same boat.
Yeah, so you've got the consultants and you're able to balance that out. Okay.
So it's a matter of, building that resources, all those resources, whether freelancers or contractors or...
Yes.
Yeah, and it's hard to find. I mean,
It's hard to find.
the contractors we have don't want to work more than 20 hours a week, don't want to ever engage with the client, but are really great designers and developers.
It seems to be hard to find someone in bloody Melbourne who does want to do 20 hours a week.
But this person, I've had one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I could give someone 2 or 3 days a week work, not 5, but everyone wants 5. So
Yeah, so I mean, these are residential. They want to stay at home. One's raising children, one's raised her children. But they're, well, and my wife worked at home as well for 10 years, but didn't really like the commercial side of stuff. But when they build it, they're like great craftsmen. When you build websites, and we've done nearly 400 now, you build website after website, they become really good at it. And I know they don't. One's like 35. She never wants to do anything else for the rest of her life besides doing, websites from home. But so that's why I need to go find someone that likes content that same way. But it's more of an artisan type.
Filipinos don't work.
So Janita, who you met at the Christmas thing.
What's that?
Janita, who I brought along, who's my assistant. So she's a primary school teacher.
Yeah.
And does 2 days teaching, and then I basically got her available for 3 days.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But it turns out that it's only really a day and a half in hours.
Yep.
Because she'll work 10 till 2 after dropping the kids off and before she picks the kids up from school, things like that. So, but I worked out the numbers the other day, and like she's now doing a 25% boost on my business.
Yep.
Just by being there.
Well, imagine if she stays working with you, like with Dana, like 6 years. She's golden.
Yeah.
Like I would fall over if I'd go back to my wife and say you have to work again.
That's dangerous.
One other thing we are doing that I'm not sure if you're seeing here again, liability is a W3C compliancy. We have a bank. Yeah, we have a bank that we're having to do it for now. They're under a potential lawsuit, and we've got a government agency as well. And you've got to make everything compliant to the Disability Acts in the United States. And so I see that coming. In the United States, I definitely see that coming because the lawsuits are going to. I don't know if it's going to happen here.
I've just done it on a really large project.
You did?
Yeah, we had an audit done by Accessibility Oz, same forums project. It was a 264-page report with things that weren't absolutely AA standard. A lot of those we could fix, a lot of those we couldn't, because they were based on the software as a service platform that we were using.
Yep.
They made a new media manager, which was just not accessible at all.
Yep.
Didn't have any tab sequence and all that kind of stuff. It's a huge area and exercise to actually be doing.
Is it going to be implemented here in Australia, like as a law, basically?
There's some
Well,
legislation.
government funding requires it. That's why we have that.
Yeah. So if you've got a particular, with that one, there would be health department
Yeah, it was a
funding,
Australian government.
and so then they have this accessibility thing too. But they also have other contracts where it says accessibility, and then you go to that client and say, okay, well, tell me what you mean by accessibility, and they go, no, we just had to put it into the tender.
But even then, it's not mandated because quite simply they can't all be met.
No.
Well, the Justice Department is the implementer in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's been. I went to a WordPress conference, and it's like, so that's another part we're going to have it at some point in our hosting. The Dane is now developing a skill set, saying when you design, we're doing another bank site right now, and it's like, you've got to keep running these tests and just changing labels and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess there are best practices.
It is best practices, yeah.
But you're not going to be doing $20 a month to ensure a site is 100% accessibility compliant.
Yeah.
It's a massive exercise.
It is.
Do you find that a lot of it's met by sorting out your SEO at the same time?
I don't do it, so
Well,
a lot of titles, using your titles
there was a
properly.
big chunk that we found on a couple of sites where the content people had, they designed the content like it was a Word document, so the picture went in and the text was there and all that sort of stuff. But they didn't do the underbelly, so there wasn't the descriptions, there wasn't the alt text, there wasn't.
Yeah.
the tab sequences, there wasn't properly formatted headings. And so when you went and ran the original page through the checker, you'd fail. But if you went and then put in the right tags and alt tags and all that sort of stuff, you would reap two benefits. You'd pass the W3C checker, and you'd also find that your page went up in Google because
So I didn't
all
know
of
that.
those things.
That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Right past W3C.
Because we use the
Right.
checker. That's what I was using it today on something.
Ah, okay, right.
WCAG 2.0 is completely separate from just W3C. So W3C is just directly form pages.
So is W3C a lower standard?
Yeah, well,
Well, that's where we're at.
yeah, in terms of accessibility, like WCAG 2, like one of the tests is how does the website render when you completely disable images in the browser?
Yeah, right. So it's
Okay, so we
pretty
had like a home icon and a hamburger icon that were both
icons, not text.
Yeah, icons, not text, that's right. So when they're disabled, absolutely nothing displays. And there's actually no way around that other than changing the design of your site and actually putting home and menu as text underneath the icons. So stuff like that, you know. It's literally viewing it through a text-based reader, links that, you know, blind people will use and seeing how the site actually reads. We had an off-canvas menu that had duplicate items for the top navigation.
Yeah.
That's a fail because it confuses them. They get lots of navigation systems when they do want to use it.
Here's the kicker to ours. We're doing a bank site right now, and
It's full on.
and actually the design is being driven by this crazy graphical designer.
Okay. That's a thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's been quite illuminating. So.
And the funny part is, the irony of all this is that the designers are so specific about what they're wanting, and we're saying, oh, we've got to lose compliance, they will get sued, so they have to do it. I can't remember and so we're having actually a conflict with the designer, because that's the old...
So the designer wants to make it look pretty.
Yeah, so that's one of the big conflicts here. Is you've got these guys, designing, saying, "Hey, we want it to look this way," and you're like, we can't.
Yeah.
Or is you're really having to look at compliance here, everything we're doing.
Yeah.
So this site's pretty close to compliant. We're building a new site for them right now, but every piece on that, it's a big site, a lot of stuff on it.
So modal windows. Do you want the site to be accessibly compliant?
No.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
With regard to you've raised your prices now after 6 or 7 years.
Mhm.
Are you now intending to have like a review schedule going forward and do it once a year or do it every 2 years, or what do you plan on doing going
Well,
forward?
from a business model point of view, if you're a developer, your quotes are free format, so you can raise your prices every year.
Yeah.
But our quotes are based on, if we have 10 new websites coming in, I'll probably charge a lot. I'll charge a lot for the next site because we're so busy. We probably, So I do use what I call, I guess, supply and demand on that. So, but in terms of hosting and that, I think if we raised our prices every year, we probably would run into clients questioning why we're doing that.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at, that's why I sort of thought, well, what's coming down the pipe? Google Page Insights. So I've got to really figure out from a selling point of view how we're going to obviously have all our sites blinding fast, and then sell the premise that when you're with us and we're managing this for you, and then they're going to say, how much work does it take for us to do this? Just like asked about the Google My Business, how much time? That's exactly the point. How much time will it take me to implement Page Insights? Now, the compliance-y stuff, you've got to charge by the hour. There's no way that could be a standard of any hosting environment. So,
I can see you've got the username label there above the field as well as in the field as a place text holder, which is an accessibility thing.
yeah.
Design-wise, you design to go, I don't need it there, it's in the input box. I don't duplicate it, you're just duplicating the label.
We charged them I think,
You have to have
$3,000 to $4,000. Like we built the site, and then they came back and had a lawsuit. They said we needed to be compliant. So I think we charged them just about as much, close to as much to make it compliant as building the site.
So suppose it is in America. Who sued?
I think there's a class lawsuit. It's clever lawyers that know that the laws are just come after. They get 200 banks, and they email every bank saying you're in a lawsuit, and they just run a report. It says the site's not compliant, and people just banks and these kind of bigger places, they jump at lawsuits like that. But so, Nikki, explain that. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, so basically what I've got out of what you said is that the way that you've managed to sell price increases to your clients is by delivering more value.
Yes.
Embedded value.
Yeah.
So if you follow on from that, if you have ways to continue to add better value to your clients, then realistically you could increase your prices every year.
We could.
Just depending on what kind of...
Would you not need those to rebrand, to segment the products up so that instead of the client seeing the headline hosting cost being $100, yeah, sure, it comes with this value that's been added to every year. Would it not be better to say, yeah, the hosting cost is actually now only $90. However, there's an additional $40 of a product B, and you've kind of almost got to buy the two together.
The key is not separating the products.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's from a selling point of view, is you've got to pay for it all. So the question is, how do you represent them as two separate products? Because the minute you do that, in my view, you're going to say, I don't need B. I don't need B.
I do a hosting and maintenance package, and I sell it as a package.
Yes.
But on the invoice, it's broken down into two parts, and that's because I don't want them to look at the total value of what I'm giving them and go and compare it to GoDaddy.
Well, that's going to be my point. If you see the $100 and go, yeah, but GoDaddy's $5.
No,
What
so
am I
I
paying?
Right. And so,
And what that also
Hosting
means
and
is
plus.
I can sell that maintenance package to people who I don't manage their hosting.
Sure.
So I have a maintenance, which is basically my time and whatever software I need and all that sort of stuff. And then I have the hosting costs. And on the invoice, it's two things, but they can't just choose one if I'm doing the hosting for them. They can just have maintenance, but they can't just have hosting. The hosting comes with the maintenance.
so where do you host? Just out of curiosity.
Serves Australia. So I've got my own dedicated server
Yeah.
for my clients.
Yeah. And do you have many people saying about GoDaddy like you?
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't.
No.
But I'm in the same boat as you that I haven't put my prices up 10 years.
Yeah.
And
But
so
you can see the financial opportunity in your
Yes.
site and doing it. So
yes,
pay raise.
most definitely.
You know the argument I always go back to, have you called a plumber recently? Because they put their prices up a
Oh,
little
well,
more.
it's ironic that the prices go up all the time.
Health, your health insurance every year mandates whatever it is percent.
Exactly.
But there was no
I had to get someone into service my heater. It was $135 for them to come to the front door. They even opened up, got a screwdriver out here.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
I do
Yeah, but
think we
I'm also
understand that.
fighting against the perception that Facebook is free. The internet in its entirety is free.
Yeah.
That's the perception that people have, and so the plumber that comes in, let alone with his screwdriver, they understand that because he's physically fronted up at their door, and so they perceive that there's some value there. Whereas the internet is a different kettle of fish, and so therefore it must be, it's cheaper. I mean, there's all these blooming foreign people that do it. It must be free.
It depends how you present the value though. If you
I
say to your
agree.
client, sure, this is free and this is what you get for it, and if you do it properly, then
Yes.
here's the benefits. And if
Yes.
you can give people something to compare to, then there's always going to be people that will choose free.
Yes.
They're not my clients.
No, that's
I
true.
I don't need clients
I
who
did that 5
who
years
want to
ago.
go free
I
and don't
used
want
to
to pay.
change pricing,
Yes.
or I do it for what they could.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah, and about 5 years ago I went, no, this just isn't working, and just convinced myself to just say no, or just be firm and say no, it's 15 hours, 110 an hour, it's what it is, what it is. Rather, if you want quality work done, and
Well, every year, aren't we getting better at our tool sets, technically? So, in any career we were in, if we would, we spend the time I guess you guys probably spend, you're becoming better every year at what you're doing. And an industry is having more and more demand, just never stops.
well, the funny thing is that I've not been busy since I started doing that. Once I stopped doing stuff for what people wanted to pay, as opposed to what it was worth, things improved dramatically. Because I just stopped getting rubbish clients.
Right, and well, that's why I love that differential business model, non-business model. I will take a non-business model client, but I don't want to hear about their business model. But don't care.
Yeah, all right, that's why I also sacked a few clients who I just like, no, you just pay your butt and you don't spend any money, where if you do it's trying to extract it out of
fun. Yeah.
Just a point in reference to, if we're doing these new developments right now or upgrades, they'll need vacations in your existing customer, which is the advantage to having managed hosting with your clients. If they like what you are doing, clearly, you know, and with the numbers you got to, once they like you,
Yes.
your lifespan, I mean, my lifespan's actually moving from like 5 to possibly, you know, maybe 7 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you look at the money you make over this client for 7 years, it's like they'll need vacations, third redesign, Porcelain Panel Tools is a new client, Eastern Middle Tennessee Auto redesign. So I have these clients, half of this development work we've got going on right now is redesigns of clients that have already redesigned before. So once they've sold on your services, there is no more selling. And it is just a matter of managing them ethically to raise prices when it's appropriate, when you're giving them more value. So any one of these people I met saying, I'm giving you more value, that's why this price is going up there, they're not going to blink. So,
When you do the funnel marketing, where you sort of link it into the social media, just marketing.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
Sorry, personally or for clients?
For clients. For clients.
Yeah.
You know, so you end up putting content up, chasing content quick enough, and then there's a whole series of emails that go out and some down months.
Oh, okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, no. So I had done much for a client years ago.
that's the last one.
That's all right. We're going down the page, right?
So me and Patrick are going to toss for it.
Sorry, that's what you said last week.
Sure.
Yes. I think there's some business
Oh, yeah.
that uses that model. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Hey Peter, I reckon your audio guys the big wins, the client, the other client's been boned.
And they are one of the best attorney firms in Nashville. So, you know, thanks everyone.
Thanks,
And,
Peter. Was there other questions for Peter?
So it's really big in the coaching